Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football, but of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilled on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.
Hey everyone, I'm Reagan Weiss along with
Joey Deeb, co-founders
of The Hub.
I'd just like to start off by prefacing this by saying it's not just us. It's all of our core members of this group that made this. We have a lot of people that have worked hard, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Can't mention all of them because there's so many, but we love you all.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for every single one of you, and you know who you are, to be involved with this. And a lot of people are asking, why The Hub? Let me tell you why The Hub. The Hub is a place that not just business owners are going to collaborate. It's where our community members are going to collaborate, where ideas are bounced off of one another. We just want to help people. We want to be there. We want to unify not just our businesses, but we want to unify our community. We don't want to hear about the negativity. We don't want to hear. There are so many other places out there that you could hear about the negativity in our community, and this will not be the place.
Our group can be a basis for so many different resources for so many different trades and industries. It's not just isolated to one specific trade or construction or cleaning or any of that. Everybody can come to the Hub to get actual references from real people using these business and utilizing them to see what kind of experiences they've had.
Now, the key word is collaboration, right? And you see that a lot lately, like collaboration. Well, it really is about collaboration. If I didn't know to collaborate with my friends behind the camera, Jordan Long, if I didn't know how to collaborate with all these other people, all these individuals involved, you wouldn't know about us because of those people. Strength are in numbers. So just like Joey said, it's every industry. We want to hear from how your experiences were with your restaurants. We want to hear your cleaning people, your contractors, your roofing companies. I mean, every industry out there, your masseuses, your salon. We want to hear real experiences from real people. And one more thing, very, very important, we're not going to allow networking. When we say networking, I just want to be very specific on this. And people say, oh, well, you're kind of pushing people away. No, we're not, because there are specific network groups that post and tag people without ever utilizing their business. And we don't want that. We want real experiences.
You're not forced to recommend somebody simply because you're in the same group.
Right.
And that's what we want. And it's not just about business either.
Right.
It's about charity and giving. We want a local hub for events to help people.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Look for Hub ads on the radio. Look for the Hub bus on the Pasco County Public Transportation System. Look in Facebook and please share this, and let's grow this positive thinking, forward momentum community. We love you, Tampa Bay.
Join the Hub and grow with us.
See you soon.
Merry Christmas. Say, I love football. Say this. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Tampa. Tampa. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Say Tampa.
Tampa
Bay. Babe. Oh my God, she's so smart and she's so precious. I love her to death.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy Valentine's Day night here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show live on the Hub and I Love St. Pete? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag, recapping Super Bowl 56. As congratulations once again, as much as it pains me to say this, the LA Rams are the Super Bowl champion, world champions. So we'll talk about it with you. We'll talk about it with Leo Haggerty. We'll also get into the Bucs quarterback situation, kind of delve into some of those rumors from yesterday about Tom Brady possibly coming back, Russell Wilson being pursued, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz. The list goes on and on. And then what do you love about sports here on this happy Valentine's Day edition? Let me go ahead and put this out there. If you're betting on sports in general, whether it's NFL, NCAA, NBA, NHL, betus.com. Once again, get 125% sign-up bonus. Use that promo code TSW22. Once again, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US. And I would really appreciate that. Super chats are open on YouTube, so if you want to donate a little bit of money, you can always do that, because I definitely love it. But I tell you what, without further ado, let's go ahead and get them on. Let's recap Super Bowl 56. Here we go. All right, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. As we have a new world champion, new Super Bowl champion, it's the LA Rams. Your thoughts on this game? Welcome to the Sports Web on this happy Valentine's Day edition.
Well, Peter, thanks for having me, and I'm hoping there's no feedback now that I got the headset in.
It sounds crystal clear, and you look even more crystal clear, my friend. So you're getting the technology thing. It's awesome.
It's scary. And, Peter, how do you expect me to follow that kid? Come on. The kid's smarter than all of us. And cut me a break. I can't look good, you know?
That's my little niece. I love that. And, you know, I always tell my sister, look, I corrupted your kid. Your kid said Tampa Bay. They said Bucs. And also we have that as an intro for the rest of your life. So good luck making her anything other than a Bucs fan. That was my plan all along. With that being said, the plan all along was to win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. I mean, talk about his game. 15 plays, 79 yards to win the whole enchilada, if you will. Very impressive, right?
Yeah, Peter, it was. If you didn't have a dog in the fight last night, it was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had the Bengals, you kind of wonder at how the officiating changed on that last drive with all the holding and the pass interference calls and that. And I'm going, wait. that wasn't a penalty in the first and second quarter. Why is it a penalty now? So
Right.
it's just the officiating was a little bit questionable, but after what Cincinnati got away with on the T. Higgins catch, I'm going, man, I hope that's not the deciding score in this game. So, yeah, and maybe the Rams put out a blueprint as to what to do now. Forget about these draft choices, trade them away, and get some proven talent. They brought in Matthew Stafford. They brought in and again, it was a shame he got hurt.
Odell Beckham.
Just a shame he got hurt.
And really, that offense changed because he had 2 catches for 52 yards along with an early touchdown to put the Rams in control early. And they were up 13-3. And as soon as he went out, it seemed like that offense really lost their focus. They really lost their firepower. Now it is a torn ACL, so no telling how long he's going to be out. He's a free agent, so at least he does get a Super Bowl, but he's going to be out for a while. With that being said, the main matchup that I was looking at was the offensive line of Cincinnati versus the defensive line of the LA Rams, and it did not work out very well. In fact, Aaron Donald absolutely just put down Joe Burrow. They had an altercation on the sideline, and he looked like a man possessed after that. 7 sacks by that defensive line. And for the total year, Joe Burrow was sacked 70 times. Talk about that defensive line of the LA Rams. I always talk about it. Offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships.
Peter, you've learned quickly there, Grasshopper. I like that.
Thank you.
And again, I was just amazed by the Cincinnati game planning and their play calling when they had the lead. They were calling plays like they were behind. I mean, you're ahead, run the ball. You know, get the clock down. But, I mean, they're trying to throw it all over the lot. And, again, questionable decision on their first series, 4th and a yard. And I was amazed neither team could run the ball very well at all. So, kudos to the defensive staff. I was talking 41-24 at Rams, but I'll tell you what, it was a great game, and I'm amazed that once Beckham went down, that Cooper Kupp just wasn't bracketed the rest of the game.
Now, something else happened in this contest. Not only were the officials very relevant in the last 2 minutes of it, I get it. They missed some calls. We can get back to that in a moment. But did you know that the Rams became the first team in 42 years to win a Super Bowl with losing the turnover battle? That's right, Leo. They had 2 turnovers in this game. Last team to do that, the 1979 Pittsburgh Steelers. Consequently, they did it against the Rams. So the Rams are able to overcome that. And it's disappointing because the Bengals really did almost everything right besides protect Burrow. And then, of course, take advantage of those turnovers with basically only 3 points off of them.
Boy, I'll tell you, especially that interception, Peter, right there. They score on the first play of the second half, interception on the second play, and they only get 3 out of it.
Yeah.
That was telling. Because, and again, the missed extra point by the Rams really loomed large that whole second half, because not only did it allow Cincinnati to tie, and I thought we were going overtime, Peter. I truly thought they were going to move down and McPherson was going to kick a field goal. And I was shocked that at 3rd and 1, they didn't try to get the first down and just run it, and then they tried to throw it on 4th down. I'm going, no, that's a mistake. You get that first down. That was the key.
Well, and you're exactly right about this, and I don't understand because Mixon was running well in this game. In fact, he converted first downs of 28 of his 46 runs this season of 1 or 2 yards to go. Instead, they run Samaje Perine. I get it, he's a big back, but he gets stopped in the backfield. And then you look back at the replay, according to Yahoo Sports and other outlets, if Burrow gets the time, Ramsey, once again, they're playing cover 1. Chase has a 49-yard touchdown, and the Bengals win this game, and they just could not give Joe Burrow enough time. So do you feel like that's going to be the focus in the offseason for the Cincinnati Bengals to put an offensive line around this kid, or eventually they're going to get him killed?
Yeah, they gotta protect him. And again, you protect your most important asset, and the entire crux of the problem is that Cincinnati needs to upgrade its offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if all of a sudden it was just Tennessee and the Rams that were sacking him, that's expected. Those guys get after the quarterback real well. But all season, Joe Burrow's been running for his life. And this is just the time that they can sit back now. They can assess the situation. They can look at what's on the board, what they can do free agency-wise. And again, free agency-wise, they should be able to attract some people.
Yeah.
Because from an offensive standpoint, they're right there. And defensively, I don't know what they're doing, but whatever they're doing, keep it up. It's the right thing to do.
I mean, you go back to it and forcing, and we're on with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member, Night Sports Productions, It Sports Mag here on the Evolution, live here on the Sports Web on I Love St. Pete and the Hub, forcing 2 or more turnovers in 2021. Get this, listen to this combined record: 98, 14, and 1. And you still lose. So I think you're exactly right. You definitely have to focus on this offensive line. Now, going back to the drive, what did you think of the call on the linebacker on Cooper Kupp? Did you think they had to call that as pass interference? Do you think the refs kind of bailed the Rams out on that last drive a little bit?
Peter, if they're calling that in the fourth quarter, they should have been calling it in the first and second and third quarter, because the same thing was happening.
Agree.
Again, it's a juxtaposition. Again, there's the SAT word of the night.
Very nice.
When you think that, why is it changing? And you could see the look on the Cincinnati defenders like, okay, what's going on? We've been doing this all game, and all of a sudden it's a penalty. And again, give Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp a lot of credit. I mean, Eli Apple's getting hammered on that last play. I don't care who the defensive back is. You're not making that play. That throw was perfect. Back shoulder throw, a yard into the end zone, and the defensive back can't see it. And that's just it. I don't care who's out there. They're getting beat.
All right. So with that being said, we heard rumors yesterday of the Tom Brady. Is he going to retire? Is he going to stay retired? Is he going to come out of retirement? And now you hear also from Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero of NFL Network that the Bucs are exploring possibilities of possibly getting a Russell Wilson, a Deshaun Watson, or waiting out a Tom Brady. And if they wait out a Tom Brady, they're going all in. Your thoughts on all these reports coming out about Brady, Wilson, and Watson?
Peter, if I'm not mistaken, didn't I bring that up 2 weeks ago on your show?
You did. You absolutely did. That's the reason why we got you on here, legend.
And I'm just wondering why people are taking so long to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Aaron Rodgers is in play. They're going to have a list of who's the best fit. And they're going to go down that list and see if there's any possibility of making this happen. And again, the problem the Bucs have is their first round picks are going to be late. I don't care who they get in. So if you're going to trade a first round pick, instead of costing you 2, it may cost you 3 because they're going to be late first round picks.
Well, and you're exactly right about that. And you look at Brady and the Bucs; they paid him over $44 million in 2021 as a part of the contract that was renegotiated after their Super Bowl win last February. He was on the books for about $10.4 million in 2022. And what you hear is they'll be able to move that money around. Only $8 million this year for the cap hit, $24 million next year. You look at Deshaun Watson. We talked about it. I think it comes down to the allegations, but they're doing their due diligence. Plus, you're going to have to give up draft capital. I don't know if that's going to happen, but once again, it's civil. It's a police investigation. I still feel like the NFL is going to suspend him Russell Wilson is interesting. He reiterated on Sirius XM interview on Friday. He hopes and his goal is to be back with Seattle and keep winning there. His relationship is closer than ever with Pete Carroll, who speaks with Wilson all the time. However, they won't stop teams from acquiring. So if you're Russell Wilson at this point, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on your short list, or are you going to go back to Seattle? And you look at that roster, it's not as good as the Bucs. So do you think Russell Wilson would consider being a starting quarterback for the Bucs if Brady steps aside?
Oh, indubitably, Peter. I think that would happen. Again, Russell Wilson is embedded in that Seattle community, not just him, but his wife, and they are very happy there. But again, it's got to be a business decision. What is Seattle going to do to improve?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not going to be able to do that, then Russell Wilson's going to say, hey, I'll entertain some trade options. Here's my list. And here's where I want to go. And a lot of people come out, and I heard this the other day, that some of the talking heads go, Russell Wilson will never be considered to be a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. I'm going, whoa. What are you watching?
Right.
And again, what he does behind an offensive line that has really been substandard for 3 years now. And it finally caught up to him this year. That he had no running game, and people just said, okay, fine. We're going to take away those receivers. We're going to bracket them one on one side, one on the other. And we're going to see if you can find the open guy while you're getting rushed to death. And that's just something you got to look at that. You got to look at, what is happening. And I say, well, Russell, he had a bad year. He didn't cook well. Well, he didn't cook well because he was basically improvising on the run.
And we're on with Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former coach, scout, and now media member, Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's go out to Joe Bucs fan and TMZ, and care of TMZ. They talked to Joe Montana during the weekend, of course, of all the Super Bowl festivities, and he said he regrets retiring at 38. In fact, he also said that he feels like, and he hasn't spoken with Brady ever since Brady retired, but he feels like, I would say he's crazy for announcing his retirement after leading the league in passing. Look at the team he's got. Why would he want to leave? I don't think he's done yet. I don't think so. His boss might say something more about it. His wife, with the team he has, give it one more try. Once again, we heard Gronk this weekend say, you know what? Brady may walk away for a year, come back in 2 years. And then the rumor was this week that there was friction between this organization, and that's the reason why Brady walked away. First and foremost, do you believe any of this stuff about him having friction in that organization? You've been around it enough. Have you seen any of that? And do you think he's trying to force his way out of the organization to go to a team like the San Francisco 49ers or somebody that we're not talking about?
No, Peter, I don't see that. The only friction Tom Brady has is with some of the media. Mm-hmm. With the way they released this. And again, Peter, if he was going to retire, I truly believe he wanted to do that at a press conference in front of at $1 and not on a Twitter account or an Instagram account.
Right.
I just don't think that's not his modus operandi. He's a real introspective guy. One thing Tom Brady can do is he's adaptable. He can come in. If you'd have said 2 years ago that this is what Tom Brady would be like, people would have said, oh man, you're going to lose that bet.
Sure.
He's just not that kind of guy coming from New England. Well, as Tom said himself, he found his voice and he wasn't afraid to use it in Tampa.
Do you think there's a possible situation where, look, we knew that he used his voice with the Antonio Brown situation. BA didn't necessarily like it, of course, but they won a Super Bowl together last year. And then when BA and this organization found out about his fake vaccination status, Brady said, you know what, you got to keep him. Maybe he went over BA's head to the Glazers. Do you think there's something along the lines of that? Is this a power play by Brady to say, you know what, What are you guys going to do? Are you going to re-sign all your free agents? Are you going to make some changes? Or is this, me again, just, thinking too much outside of the box, and it really just comes down to a family situation where his wife said, look, it's time to call it quits. You need to spend some time with the family.
You know what, Peter? The funny thing about that spending time with the family. Today, Tom Brady got all his kids off to school. There he is sitting at home alone. He could be in. He could be in watching film. He could be in with, getting together with teammates and that. Peter, the idea of a power play is not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay.
I don't know if it would be. Maybe it was, look, I'm going to retire unless.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you get to sign Godwin back, Fournette back, Sue back, maybe it's that kind of a power play that you do that, I'll come back. But right now, I don't see that happening. So I'm going to retire.
Are the Bucs stuck in a rock and a hard place with this situation where they still hold out hope for the greatest player of all time who led the league in passing touchdowns, and you're forced to go with the Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask, and then you wait too long and he decides not to come back? I mean, do you think this organization would be prepared to move on to another choice like a Russell Wilson or the quarterbacks that we talked about?
Peter, the day before free agency opens up, Jason Light's going to make a phone call.
Okay.
Bruce Arians is going to make a phone call and say, Tom, are you going to stay retired? And again, I don't see why he'd want to go to the 49ers. His best bet to put another ring on the finger and to stay upright is right here in Tampa Bay. The offensive line did a tremendous job keeping his jersey clean.
Right.
And the Eagles game, I don't think he got knocked down. It was crazy.
No.
So you got a playoff game and your quarterback doesn't even get his pants dirty. Okay. Kudos to the offensive line. But Peter, I just think the Bucs need to make a move with Godwin and Fournette. When they do that, I think that's when they'll come back to Brady and say, okay, here's what we've done. You want to come back and play in the sandbox with these guys?
Well, and I think it's also Jensen. And I also think you have to go after another wide receiver, either drafting one or getting somebody out there. I was saying OBJ, but now with the torn ACL, there's some wide receivers out there you may be able to get. A J.J. Smith-Schuster, he may fit into this offense, just throwing some names out there. On Sunday, Chris Mortensen of ESPN described another quarterback, and that would be Carson Wentz's future in Indianapolis as bleak, adding that the Colts would likely trade or release him this offseason. If they don't move on from Wentz by March 18th, an additional $12 million of his contract guarantees for next season. He's already on the books for a guaranteed $15 million. Now, of course, they traded a third-round pick, which wound up being a first-round pick for Wentz in a gamble that blew up in their face. Carson Wentz with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First and foremost, is that a fit in your opinion? And can you get him on the cheap? Because he didn't do so well last year, as well as I think a lot of Colts fans would think. Can you not trade a first-round pick for him? Could he come in a second or third-round pick? Or could the Colts just outright release this guy? And do you think the Bucs would be interested?
Well, Peter, I'm kind of confused where everybody says he had a bad year. His interception to touchdown ratio was phenomenal.
Yep.
Again, he had a bad last game and against Jacksonville.
Right.
Well, he had a bad last game. That's because the Colts got behind.
Mm-hmm.
When you got behind and throw the ball, and that offense is built around Jonathan Taylor, and smartly it's done that way. And they're a play-action team. Well, when you're behind, play-action doesn't show up because teams they're ignoring the run because they know you got to throw the ball. I am not a Carson Wentz critic. I think he would be a good fit. I've seen what he can do in Philadelphia when he's healthy. And again, you're talking about a guy who had major knee surgery. You're talking about a guy who had neck surgery after the Seattle game where he got just pounced upon. No penalty called by that either. That was an interesting situation.
Sure.
But he did in Indianapolis what he needed to do, but he had one or two bad games. And again, everybody has one or two bad games. We saw that down here with number 12. You know,
sure.
You just can't have that bad game when it's in the playoffs or when you're playing to get into the playoffs.
All right, last quarterback here that we're going to talk about. Chris Mortensen was busy with ESPN on Sunday. He was also talking about Kyler Murray, who we found out last week unfollowed Arizona on all his social media accounts, people making a big deal. It is a big deal these days. And according to an anonymous source, the great anonymous source, which, by the way, you've been in media for years. What the hell is an anonymous source? Is that somebody on the team? Is that a writer? Is that a beat writer? What is an anonymous source, honestly?
An anonymous source is you throwing the stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Okay.
Because no one can come back at you because you didn't name anybody.
Okay.
And again, Peter, I've had a lot of stories with anonymous sources, and you better have a second.
Okay.
Because, and again, I could have come out after that playoff game with the Rams. They lost and come out and say, Tom Brady's retiring.
Right.
I have an anonymous source. But you got to have a little bit of class. You got to have a little bit of credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something you don't want to go with. And, Peter, I do not think Kyler Murray's a good fit in Tampa. Again, he's complaining about the group around him. He better watch that game film because that game with the Rams, the problem was the quarterback, nobody else. He definitely had a terrible game.
I agree. I mean, he definitely had one of his roughest games. On top of it, Mortensen is reporting he's self-centered, and this is what the organization supposedly feels like. He's self-centered, immature, and a finger pointer. And this, according to NFL Network's Mike Garafolo, Murray asked out of the game near the end of the fourth quarter with the Rams winning and nothing in doubt. The playoff game in LA, a minute left. The game had been decided. Backup Colt McCoy encouraged Murray to finish the game with his teammates. A banged up Murray said, no, that's it. I'm done. Already undersized, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The sky's the limit. Arizona has come out and said there's nothing that's changed. We still want him to be a starter in 2022. And this is what he had to say on all his social media platforms, including Instagram and Twitter. I played this game for the love of it. My teammates, everyone who has helped me get to this position that has believed in me to win championships. All of this nonsense is not what I'm about. Never has been, never will be. Anyone who has ever stepped between those lines with me knows how hard I go. Love me or hate me, but I'm going to continue to grow and get better. So can he force his way out of Arizona? And look, Mike Evans possibly recruiting him at the Pro Bowl. I mean, could this be history repeating itself again as Sapp recruited Keyshawn Johnson? I mean, is there something afoot here? Or is this Kyler Murray being immature and basically all they have to do is redo his deal and then he'll be the starting quarterback of the Cardinals? Or is it something more?
Peter, I just think he's going to be the starting quarterback with the Cardinals. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And again, when I talk sense, CENTS.
Correct.
It's money.
This right here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and shake that stuff for me, Peter. That's a classic. But I don't understand what the problem is in terms of the quarterback's tied to the coach out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the one that said, hey, this is the guy we got to get. So I got a feeling that Cliff Kingsbury is going to sit down with number one and say, okay, wake up, pal. Here's your best chance to win. You got to embrace it. You got to start talking like the guy. Mm-hmm. And you're not talking like the guy. You're talking like the guy that wants to get out. And that's never good.
And then this is also following that report from Garafolo of NFL Network. They're looking for Murray to take a step forward in the number of with him basically being more mature. his body language on the sideline, and also having a bigger voice with his teammates and leadership. And of course, wanting out of a game, I get it. You're banged up, but the game's not over with. The Rams, of course, are going to win it, but you finish out the game. You don't quit. That's not a good look. What is a good look is Mr. Leo Haggerty here on The Evolution. Give me one thing that you love about sports, because it is Valentine's Day, my friend.
You know what I love about it, Peter? You play the game.
Yes.
It's not on paper. And again, why they call it the NFL? Not for long. Because on any given Sunday, it can happen. And we've seen it over and over and over again. And not just in football, but in basketball, baseball, hockey, golf. I mean, we saw a Tampa Bay Lightning team get swept after they set the record for most wins in a season.
Yeah.
Get swept in the first round. All that did was increase their resolve to come out and play better and to go win a Stanley Cup and then a second Stanley Cup. And they're in the running for a three-peat. So we just, hey, folks, buckle your seatbelt, because this is going to be a wild ride still here in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. With the Tampa Bay Lightning and only 3 weeks away from free agency, Mr. Leo Haggerty on The Evolution. Go ahead and promote yourself, my friend.
Yeah, take a look at us on itsportsmag.com, and we are moving ahead. And Peter, I got some news for you next week, and I think you'll like what I hear.
Oh, really? What's that all about, Mr. Fox Sports Radio? And
hey, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil until next week.
Sounds good, my friend. I like it. I like it a lot. Let me go ahead and give you the Ric Flair right there. Appreciate you, Leo Haggerty. Thanks a lot for joining me here on the Sports Web Live on I Love St. Pete and the Hub. All right, my friend?
Always a pleasure to be on with the hardest working sports media guy in the Tampa Bay area.
Appreciate it. And I feel like the future is bright. We're going to have to wear sunglasses, right?
Either that or get an umbrella.
All right, my friend. Sounds good right there. Leo Haggerty, the legend, with possibly some good news. Wonder what that's all about, huh? I mean, did you think I was going to be stagnant? I'm not going to do the same thing over and over again. This show progressively is going to get better. You haven't seen the best of me, and you definitely haven't seen the best of my guests yet. I can guarantee you. Let's open up the phone lines here, because I'm pumped up after hearing that. Whatever the heck that news is. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Questions for the night. What did you think about Super Bowl 56? What do you think about the Bucs quarterback situation, as it seems like it's a merry-go-round? Gotta love that, right? We'll see. We'll see how that plays out, because there's so many quarterbacks being talked about right now that could go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And what do you love about sports? Because it is Valentine's Day. And I'm going to be a sweetheart tonight. I'll try not to hang up on you. Not that I do anyway. I'll try to be a nice person tonight, okay? Unless you piss me off. And with that being said, let's go out to Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan Legend SC. Rams won a real Super Bowl, not a COVID Super Bowl. Boy, oh boy, you started out great, right?
Shut up!
Oh, yes. Whatever, buddy. After what Godwin said the other morning about free agency and how there's going to be a lot of money thrown at him, do you think we're going to have to franchise tag him to keep them here? I'm not sure about that. I think they're going to pay him. It certainly seems like, look, his value is there. Okay, 17 to possibly $20 million. And for the people out there saying, well, you can't afford to pay two wide receivers big-time money, I disagree. Chris Godwin deserves it. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's go ahead and get this guy's intro on. Here we go. All right, my friend, Ed from Palm Harbor, welcome to the Evolution here on the Sports Web Live on I Love St. Pete and the Hub. What do you have to say, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? You know, I almost turned that game off in the middle of the first half because it was such terrible Terrible officiating.
Really? I mean, I didn't think the officiating in that first half was that bad. I thought the second half, especially that last drive, was very
the Rams
questionable.
were getting away with murder.
Okay.
They were just getting away with murder and holding. They were doing some pass interference. It's just, these are the kinds of things that makes me actually start to think that the NFL is rigged, because I saw this throughout the whole season, that certain teams were getting very, very unbelievably favorable calls in the game. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, but the last couple of years, I've had a problem with the officiating.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that had a problem with the officiating. Not only the new rule there where you never could taunt, but now you're paying attention to it. You're getting more penalties called, celebration, stuff like that. Very questionable calls, critical calls at critical times, right? You don't want to see the referees in that situation. You don't want to have that happen. And of course, that's exactly what happened in those last 2 minutes. And a lot of people said, you know what? The Bengals got screwed. But look, the Bengals had their opportunities. At the end of the day, you have 2 turnovers and over 3 points off of those. You have to cash in on those situations. And of course, you can't commit stupid penalties yourself, which is what the Bengals did yesterday. And they also went for 4th down and they got shut down a couple times, namely in that first half, which came back to kind of haunt them. So you're looking at every aspect. The Bengals, they did everything correctly. You didn't turn over the ball. You won the turnover battle, but you could not protect Joe Burrow. And to be fair, the T. Higgins play for 75 yards. Clearly, Higgins gets away with offensive pass interference. But I absolutely agree with you. At the end of the day, and those critical times, you don't want to see refs kind of decide games. And that's kind of what happened last night.
Don't they have people that are in the press box that are watching, or they have people that are in New York watching the refs, watching the game?
Yeah, I mean, they have people from New York when they're doing replays, but I mean, it's on the officials at the end of the day. It's on the officials unless they go for a replay. So, and they're not going to replay pass interference. They did that a couple years ago.
Well, they used to do that.
Well, it didn't work out. Kind of slowed down the game. But for me, I don't necessarily care about slowing down the game. At the end of the day, I like getting the call right. Now, did you think Wilson on that play held Cooper Kupp? It looked like he had his hand on there, but really, was he doing anything?
It did look like he had his hand. It looked like he had his hand out from the angle, but it did look like he was grabbing and pulling at him, which is what I saw from the corners of the Rams.
Right.
Basically, the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams corners were getting away with murder. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And the Rams offensive line, every single blitz or even every single run blitz, the offensive line was getting away with murder.
Well, look, holding happens on every play, and there's always questionable calls.
When it's really blatant, starts getting to the point where it's blatant,
when you're holding outside of the jersey and you can see it on a replay, it's easy to say that. And of course, the officials, I thought they called a good game up until that last drive and some questionable calls in that second half, which not only went in the Rams' way, but once again went into the Bengals' way. But again, how disappointing is it to see a pass interference call be made in that critical time? But
the officiating's just been going downhill, and I don't know what it is. Normally you just don't hear me talk about officiating because I was always taught when I was playing, I was taught never leave the game in the hands of the refs.
Correct.
And unfortunately, though, the refs are just they're taking control of the game basically with their bad calls.
Yeah.
So something better be done with it. So I'm not the only one that's upset about it.
You hope it is, but at the end of the day, I feel like the league is making billions of dollars of revenue. We're still watching Super Bowls and halftime shows and everything like that. So who knows if there's going to be any changes until there's a team that really steps up. But we've seen teams get screwed before. We saw New Orleans
Bucs got screwed.
We've seen the Bucs. We've seen New Orleans. We've seen all kinds of teams. But just think about it. If that Cincinnati Bengal offensive line can give Burrow an extra second or two, he's able to find Chase for that touchdown. we're singing a different tune at that point because Cincinnati is up. And who knows if the Rams are going to be able to come up, because at that point, as my co-host would say, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, Cincinnati has the mo. So
yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I know you were talking about that with Leo Haggerty,
sure,
about Tom Brady and the rumors that are flying around that he's thinking about playing. There's rumors that he might go with another team. I don't know why he would go with another team. I don't think he can. I think they had a no trade clause in his contract.
Well, he's still under contract. I mean, that's the thing. So am I going to sit here and act like I know all the terms? No, I have to get more into it. But I know there's a provision where the Bucs can, spread it out where it's $8 million. It's a $32 million total contract, but they could spread it out $8 million this year, 24 next. And then, of course, if he does want to force his way out, then I think the Bucs would definitely have to think about, moving on, going with the trade, or putting him on the reserve list. And if they do that after June 1st, then you'll know. But until then, who knows what's going to happen? And when Brady's coming out and making these comments of, look, I'm leaving the door open, we know how much of a competitor he is. But also it's difficult because if you're the Bucs, are you going through back channels and talking to him and saying, you know what, you've been given an assurance that he may come back. So then you can't move on to a big quarterback. You got to stick with Trask, maybe re-sign a Blaine Gabbert or a stopgap quarterback. And then if Brady doesn't come back, you're basically screwed. So
yeah, I don't think Brady's going to do that.
I don't think so either. But, who knows at this point?
He's a professional.
Well, he is a professional. But he also is a guy that has kind of played a power play, has he not? I mean, he wanted Antonio Brown. The organization gave him Antonio Brown. He wanted Rob Gronkowski. The organization gave him Rob Gronkowski. He wanted Leonard Fournette. The organization gave him Leonard Fournette. So
did Rob actually officially retire?
He has not retired yet. No, there's no.
That tells me that there's something, because if Brady retired, I expected Gronk to go with him.
And then, of course, Gronk just came out the other day and said, look, the quarterback I like to play with is possibly Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals. So is that talk or is that reality? We just got to watch it play out here. And we've got about...
I think Brady's coming back. I do, because if he wasn't coming back, then Gronk would be retiring.
I mean, is there a possibility he could take off a year and then come back in 2 years? Who knows? Who knows?
Then he's playing for another team because we're not going to wait that long for him. So...
Well, I don't know how the situation works out at this point. I like to be a fly on that wall, but
I know this: if he's going to come back in 2 years, he won't be with the Bucs. I mean, I just don't see that.
No,
the Bucs aren't going to wait. The Bucs are going to move on. They're going to go get another quarterback.
Right.
They're going to reload and try to go for another championship, whether it be with Brady or somebody else.
Well, I agree with you on that. I mean, and shouldn't they do that? I mean, what did you think of the reports this week coming out that they're doing their due diligence on a Russell Wilson, getting the 33-year-old quarterback out of Seattle, and also possibly a Deshaun Watson?
Their best move would be to get Brady to come back. If they can't, then I would say they should try to get Russell Wilson. But the only problem is that's going to give up a lot of capital to do that. Now, if you're all in, if you're saying you're all in and you're going for the championship now, then that's what you do.
Right.
If you're rebuilding, then you're not going to do that. You're probably going to go with Trask. And hopefully he pans out in the next couple of years. But
yeah,
it's just in my opinion, that's just what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to either get Tom Brady to come back, and maybe he's just waiting to see if he can resign. If the Bucs can resign some of their players, if they can, then I think maybe he'll come back. If he doesn't, then I think they're going to go after Russell Wilson.
Well, at the end of the day, you're going to have to invest capital. You're going to have to invest a lot of money either way it goes. And if you can show that, or you could go with the cheap option, go with the Blaine Gabbert, a stopgap quarterback, or somebody like
Blaine Gabbert is not going to be the quarterback here.
I don't know at this point. I have no idea what this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team is going to be. They may go with Kyle Trask for 1 year.
If you're gonna go with Blaine Gabbert, you're better off going with Trask because you're probably gonna get the same result.
Well, I mean, Blaine knows this system a little bit better than Kyle Trask. I mean, so
I know, but I just don't have any faith in Blaine Gabbert.
All right.
You know, I remember one time a couple of years ago when Winston was playing and he broke his hand and he was on the sidelines and they had Blaine Gabbert go in for a play or two, and then Abrams was over there on the sidelines asking, "Hey, can you go? Can you go?" I don't think he had any faith in Blaine Gabbert to win that game.
Well, I don't know if it was Blaine Gabbert. Was it Ryan Griffin? I think it was the Ryan Griffin at the time, actually, because I think Blaine was hurt in. I think you're talking about Ryan Griffin.
Oh, maybe it was Ryan Griffin.
It was Ryan Griffin. Yeah, he's thrown about 2 passes in the league. Blaine was hurt in the preseason. So, but BA has lots of confidence in Blaine. He will say it over and over again. He knows the system. He's a veteran presence. He's been a starter in the National Football League. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to lead you anywhere besides maybe, possibly winning that division because the division is so down at the end of the day. I mean, we feel like New Orleans is right. So, I mean, I just don't see Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask doing what this Bucs team wants to do. And at the end of the day, I feel like that window is still open for them to win a championship. What were your other thoughts on the Super Bowl yesterday?
I didn't really like the halftime show as much.
Really? Why? Why didn't you like the halftime show?
It's just not my style.
It's not your style. So
no, it's not.
So you didn't like the music. You didn't like it at all. You didn't enjoy it.
I'm an old rock and roll guy, man.
Yeah,
I'm an 80s rock, Yeah,
I mean, that's what I got on my post. I posted this. I said, how could you not like the halftime show? And the majority of the comments, I liked it. It could have been a little bit better, but I liked it. It took me back to when I was a kid. And then you got the other people out there that are not necessarily in this generation, didn't like the music, old rock and roll guys. And nothing wrong with that because, that's how the generation works. I mean, my parents liked their music and their parents probably hated it. The same thing. So I don't have anything. I just thought it was kind of cool.
My parents got me hooked on rock and roll.
Okay.
They were big Journey fans. They were big, Dave Bowie fans. They like Steve Miller, all them, and I listened to that over and over again. I just fell in love with it. I'm still listening to it to this day.
So no 50, no Dre for you, no Mary J. Blige, no Kendrick, nothing like that. You don't like any of that? No. All right.
I like Hendrix. Did you say Hendrix or Kendrick?
Kendrick, not Jimi Hendrix.
Oh no, okay,
he's dead.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not really into that. No.
All right. Besides the halftime show, you not liking it, what do you love in sports?
What do I love in sports?
Yes.
I love the fact that we're going to have more football coming up here.
You like the USFL?
I'm pretty sure you're going to cover it.
Of course.
So it's going to be good.
I mean, what else more do I have to do here? I mean, I love covering sports. I told you to tune in tonight. Call in. I'm here for your entertainment, enjoyment. Sometimes educational. Sometimes I bring a little bit of nonsense, but I try to let my callers and texters bring nonsense. Namely, a Troy Polamalu, King Troy, who is full of nonsense. Something different, but okay. Yeah. So you like more football? So you're excited about the USFL?
I'm excited that they're bringing back the Tampa Bay Bandits. I was a fan of them back when they were around before. I used to go to pep rallies. I met Burt Reynolds because of the Tampa Bay Bandits.
Sure.
Now Burt Reynolds isn't going to be there because he passed away, but that's just how it goes.
You're 0 for 2 tonight, buddy. He's dead. Yes, he's also dead. Yes.
He's dead. Yes. I said that. I said he's not going to be there because he passed away.
He's not going to be there. And if he is there, then he's in hologram form.
That would be awesome if he was there. But
sure. All right, Ed. Anything else, buddy?
All right, that'll do it.
All right, my friend. Let me go ahead and give you. Let me give you the Ric Flair. Whoa! All right, let me fire the cannons. All right. And let me give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Appreciate the call, right, my friend? Hang in there. All right, buddy. Good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Live here on I Love St. Pete, of course, the hub. I call it the Sports Hub. Little new commercial there to begin the show. Thank you to Reagan Weiss and Joey Deeb once again for the opportunity. We talked about Bet US. That's another thing. TSW 22, if you want to consider that. If you're gambling on anything having to do with the National Football League right now, of course, NCAA, NBA, NHL, anything at all, TSW22, betus.com. All right, so going back to David's question, I think that's one of their main priorities, if you will, to re-sign a Chris Godwin. And no matter how much money it takes, they're gonna have to ante up, because what he showed me last year, he's definitely a top receiver in the league. There will be a team out there that's gonna want to pay him big time money, and I don't think you can let that kid get out of the building. And it certainly seems like from his comments on NFL Network, he doesn't want to get out of the building because he likes playing alongside Mike Evans. Shocker. As my boss would say, shocker. You like playing with Mike Evans? Unbelievable. No matter what quarterback you have, you always have a distinct advantage if you're playing right beside a Mike Evans. Just saying. Kimberly says, looking good, Leo. Harry says, oh my God, Leo has new technology. Hallelujah. Yes, we'll fire the cannons for that. Troy Polamalu, King Troy, seems like it was just yesterday the Bucs were Super Bowl champs, and now we're back to being chumps. Well, look, that is the National Football League, which means not for long.
Shut up!
I don't think this team is chumps. They're just not Super Bowl champions, and it can't happen every year. Even the greatest teams of our time, the San Francisco 49ers, who had a dynasty, didn't win every year, even though it seemed like they did. You had teams in there like the Washington football team at the time, the Redskins, the New York Giants. I mean, there were teams in that generation, the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. Of course, the Packers, the Broncos. Every team isn't going to win it every year. I hate to tell you. Hate to break the news to you, Troy. You're not going to win every game, my friend. There's only one team in NFL history that's ever done that. That's the Miami Dolphins. And I doubt it'll ever happen again. Patriots and Brady had the best opportunity, and they couldn't do it. You know why? Because defense wins championships. And that's the New York Giants knocking at your door saying we're going to beat you in 2 Super Bowls. That's truly Tom Brady's kryptonite. Bucks gonna Bucks. I don't know what that means. Roger Shue. Hey, Peter and Leo, Troy Polamalu, people in Africa now are wearing Bengals 4-time Super Bowl champ shirts. I don't think you know what's going on in Africa. I'll just leave it at that. It's got to be number one priority for Cincinnati in the offseason. It has to be. 70 sacks for Joe Burrow. I mean, that offensive line is just pitiful. Just pitiful. You're going to get that kid killed. He's a damn good player, and he's going to be a damn good quarterback, but you got to protect him. You got to help your quarterback out. You do. Let's go out to Troy Polamalu. Brady wants to win, not teach and babysit a coach like Leftwich. I doubt he's coaching or babysitting Leftwich, but we'll agree to disagree. So Brady called Sherman to come to Tampa, but now he's bailed out on him. I don't know about where you've heard that from. Queen Anita says, fire those cannons, as I shall. Happy Valentine's Day, sweetie. Thank you very much for tuning in. Roger Shue says, Leo, excited that Watson is coming to the Bucs. He's never had anything bad to say about him. And look, I think the Bucs are going to explore every possibility at this point. But again, I'm going to warn you, there are still allegations out there. I get it. It's civil. It's going to be difficult, even if you want to get a Watson, because look, again, if it wasn't about the issues off the field, it would be a slam dunk, and there would be no trade talk at this juncture. You would have multiple teams willing to trade for him because he's so talented and so young. But the NFL doesn't like that, and they don't like multiple allegations. They just don't. Refs are just doing their job. Troy Polamalu following orders and getting paid by Vegas. I'm not ready to say that. The youngest ref in the NFL is 85. Those old mucks ruining the game. Christopher Cole Wilson didn't stop or slow down cup movements. Agree with that. Because you watch the replay of it, it's kind of ridiculous that they called it. Brady quit on the Bucs, so why does Raymond James still have his huge posters around the stadium? He didn't quit. He retired.
Shut up!
I swear. You're the Valentine that keeps on giving, aren't you, Troy? Halftime show sucked ass. Well, we know how you feel about it. I don't necessarily know why you hate the halftime show so much there, Roger, but whatever. Arian said they're looking into bringing back Mike Glennon because he knows no biscuit, no risk it system. Christopher Cole says, I love the thrill watching live sports and anything can happen. I also love the history of all sports. So that's what you love. Guys, call in if you want to talk about this. I threw it out there tonight because it is Valentine's Day. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. We'll talk about this Bucs quarterback situation as we got into the rumors with Leo. I can't really pinpoint it. I don't know what to say at this point. 3 weeks away from free agency. Do the Bucs move on? Does Brady come back? Who do you want to see them get? 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Ben Cornett, I wouldn't find it so shocking to see someone like Ryan Jensen snapping the ball to Joe Burrow in 2022. Certainly a possibility. Of course, we've discussed this on the show. He may be one of the casualties, right? Because the Bucs have so many free agents. 23 free agents? Something like 23, 25 free agents. And you have 2 on your offensive line and Alex Kappa, who's going to get paid a lot younger than Jensen. I think Jensen gets signed. I mean, if you're trying to convince a Tom Brady or another quarterback, you sign one of the best centers in the league. Don't care how old he is. I get it. But he's still playing at a high level. Kappa, I don't know. I think you price yourself out. Especially if you want to sign a Carlton Davis, a Chris Godwin, William Golston possibly. I mean, those to me are the priorities at this point. Sue, I don't think is coming back. JPP, we'll see. He still wants to play, it seems like. Fighting through an injury. We talked to Leo about this a couple weeks ago, and he said it best. Maybe you let JPP test free agency out, see what he can get. And then you bring him back on a discounted deal. Who knows? Who knows? I could definitely see one of these offensive linemen in a Bengal uniform. I could see it. Antonio Brown, free agent, innocent, still booming. Bucs can't afford to pay Godwin because they owe me money. Fake news. It is fake news. Shut up! Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Time will tell, and I can't wait to see what they do in 3 weeks. And you'll hear all these rumors and reports. Just don't freak out. Let's go out to Kyle Nicole. Okay, food for thought on the officiating. Throughout 95% of the game, they almost call nothing, but then at the end of the most important drive, they call everything like it's the most flip-floppy thing we've seen all season. Be consistent throughout the entire game. Either call everything or play it loose and call the obvious extreme penalties. Agree with you on that. I mean, I think it's disappointing that it comes down to that. I really do. But then again, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals and you do everything right, what did you do wrong in this game? Well, you have 2 turnovers. Okay, so you win the turnover battle, but what do you convert those in? 3 points. Why? Because of the asinine penalty by Vernon Hargreaves. Idiotic. Completely idiotic. I get it. He's a kid. He's happy to be in the Super Bowl. But, for somebody that is not even dressed out to celebrate, and then you pick up that penalty, that takes the momentum away because it backs you up. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. I don't know who this is. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on the Sports Web live on I Love St. Pete in the Hub. What do you have to say?
Yo, is it Petey?
This is Pete. This is on his sports talk show. What do you want to talk about?
Why are we live? No, this is personal stuff. I don't want to put your shit out there like that.
Okay, well, then you don't call my show then. I mean, don't call my show if you're going to put out personal stuff. Because this is my personal phone line, but this is also the Sports Web phone line. Come on, guys. You're wasting my time here. I mean, if you're on air, you're on air. Don't waste my freaking time. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Christopher Cole. Okay, so we read that comment. Also, which happened in the game, and going back to it before I was interrupted, I mean, you convert 2 turnovers into 3 points. You have an idiotic penalty, which puts you behind. You're not able to do anything at that point with it because it changes the play calling. And I'm thinking about it at the time, you're only down 13-10. If you're getting good field position, maybe it changes. Maybe not going for that 4th down early on in the game. Maybe being a little bit more conservative. You know, what I can't understand, and I get it, hindsight is 2020, but Joe Mixon is running like a monster, and the Rams are not able to stop him. And we read the statistic right there of how he's able to convert, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2s at a pretty good clip, and you put in another running back on that situation. I don't understand that. All right, let's go out to Ben Cornett. I only saw 2 calls that I didn't agree with yesterday. The holding call of the Bengals with 2 minutes left, which was not holding, and the no call on Higgins who grabbed Ramsey's face mask on the touchdown. I agree. I mean, I think Eli Apple definitely interfered. I mean, it's tough not to interfere with a Cooper Kupp. You got to call it. But, of course, what compounds it is when you see that questionable holding call and then you see another pass interference call, then people are like, what's up here? The refs are trying to aid the Rams. I'm not willing to say that. I'm just not. I think there's too much money out there to be had. I don't think the NFL is rigged. I don't think it's professional wrestling by any means. I don't think it's sports entertainment, as my father would say. I don't. But when you have those questionable calls at those critical times, then people start to think about it. They start to think differently. I get it. I understand it. But again, Bengals didn't help out. They didn't help. They didn't do anything in that second half. So 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Vernon Hargraves is still in the league. He used to suck in Tampa. Well, he was on the Bengals, and he was doing what he did best in Tampa Bay, which is celebrate. But usually when those celebrations were coming, he wasn't tackling anybody. I'm just saying. All right, so coming out of that game, we talked about it. 42 years. All right, let's go out to Ben Cornett. Ben, welcome to the Evolution. Please don't be like the other guy and say, I can't put your personal stuff out there. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, hello, Peter. How you doing?
Well, happy Valentine's Day, Ben.
Oh, thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
This is sweet of you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, what a game, huh? I mean, last night, quite the game. I posted just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Those were the only 2 calls I thought were – the non-call was – it should have been called a face mask. And the other one, the holding one, ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how the refs saw that as a hold. I just don't get it. And there were a couple questionable ones, but you're going to get a few of those in every game, no matter what,
Sure.
So, but, Cincinnati, I think the offensive line they caught up to them. Their bad offensive line finally caught up to them. They played a better defense. And Aaron Donald he wasn't going to be denied. You could just tell. This was now or never. And he certainly played like it. He should have got MVP.
Over Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
Wow. Why?
Well, he had like 4 sacks, didn't he?
He had 2 sacks in the game. He had
2 sacks. Okay,
2 sacks. I mean, but a lot of pressures, absolutely. A lot of stops in the run game, especially the 3rd down play. He stopped Samaje Perine. Donald saved the game twice, and this is from Pro Football Talk. They were saying the same thing. He stopped Bengals running back Samaje Perine on 3rd and 1. Running attempt, then next also harassed Joe Burrow, of course, on that play. Because, look, if you look at that replay and you give Burrow that extra second or 2, Jamar Chase is wide open for 49 yards. Once again, Ramsey, I'm happy for you getting the Super Bowl, but stop saying you're one of the best corners in the league. You're playing cover 1, and you look absolutely lost in the sauce at that point. If Burrow can get that extra couple seconds, more than likely the Bengals win that game. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then you're right, Ramsey. Yeah, he's been struggling lately.
Well, I mean, Mike Evans lit him up too. So.
Yeah, but I kind of disagree. Somebody posted that today, and I broke down the play.
Right.
Ramsey, he gave Mike too much space. Mike's not a deep threat, but Ramsey thought Brady would not go his direction. So what happened was he gave all that space, and then if he just stayed 5 yards between them, he could have easily, contained Evans, but he didn't.
Okay.
He just laxed on the play. And he paid for it. And Brady's smart enough quarterback to read that, threw it to Evans, and caught Ramsey off guard. I think it's also a lack of focus too on Ramsey sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As a cornerback, sometimes you think you're so good that you can make up for it in other ways, but you can't. That's what I see mostly out of Jalen Ramsey, especially this year. Just my opinion.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I think, look, he's always been a talker, but, sometimes it's always good to, maybe just, I don't know, be a little bit humble. But again, he won a Super Bowl championship. Congratulations to the Rams. I think Cooper Kupp absolutely deserved to be the MVP. And I said all year long, I thought he deserved to be in that conversation because watching him kill the Bucs the last couple of years here showed me, look at this. I mean, can you believe this? The year that he's had, he's totaled 178 catches for 2,425 yards in 21 games, 17 regular season and 4 postseason. He's obliterated the former records, the previous record for combined regular season and postseason receiving yards. Get this, 1,977 by Larry Fitzgerald in 20 games in 2008. The previous record also combined regular season and postseason catches was 156 by Michael Thomas in 17 games in 2019. He also had 22 total touchdown catches, which fell just short of the record set by Randy Moss, who had 24 in 19 games in 2007. Of course, the perfect year that was not when the Giants beat them in the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp, to me, is just on another level, and people just need to start respecting him, putting, as the kids would say, respect on his name, because he's not flashy. He just continues to go about his business, catch big-time passes, get open, especially in that last drive, penalty or no penalty.
He's the real deal. And Peter, I got to ask you a question. Is he still on a rookie contract, or is he, as far as do you know?
I believe he's still on a rookie contract. Now, I have to check that out, but if he is, he's going to cost them a pretty penny. And I'm not sure if the Rams are going to be able to afford it because of all of the money that they've invested long-term into this situation. Yep. And it kind of reminds me of what's happening with the Saints. And the deal is, the reason why they're in such cap hell is, that cap hit for Drew Brees. They pushed it down, and of course he retired, and that's the reason why they're in the cap hell. So of course you don't want to see the Bucs do that, but the Rams, with all their first round picks, not having them, all their premium picks, it was worth it. But now you're going to have to pay the piper. So this Rams team could look absolutely different. And then on top of it, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Ben, from Las Vegas. Aaron Donald being talked about walking away at 30 years old. Does he have anything left to prove? And also the coach, Sean McVay. He has not ruled out because, he said, I don't know if I'm going to be an NFL lifer. There's a report out there that ESPN could pursue him and possibly play him $10 million and up to be a broadcaster. So what do you think of that situation? First, Aaron Donald.
It wouldn't shock me if he retired, but I still think he can play a few years. But in an athlete, you always want to go out on top, right? And be still at why you can still play.
Sure.
I could see him coming back next year as far as Aaron Donald goes. Now, Sean McVay, this is interesting because, look at the Rams situation, Peter. The cap space, like you just talked about.
Yeah.
You laid out that plan. Does he really want to be part of a rebuild?
I don't know. I mean, look, he's 30. He's 36 years old, youngest coach to win the Super Bowl, right? So, we've already went to the top of the mountain. So, do you want to go back through? I mean, I don't know. I mean, from his comments, it's not looking like he wants to be an NFL lifer. So maybe coaching is not necessarily all he wants to do, and that's okay. I mean, you're a young guy. You've been in the coaching ranks. You've already won a Super Bowl. You have a new wife, model wife. Congratulations. Everything is going right for you, my friend.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Google it, kids. He's definitely doing big things. That's all I have to say, especially on Valentine's Day. He ain't watching this show, that's for sure.
Oh, no. He's doing something else, Peter. he's getting another championship tonight.
Yes!
You know what I mean?
Yes! She's a Ukrainian model. So, good for him. And look, she met him when he was with Washington. So,
right.
She's the real deal. I mean, she's not somebody that just came along. I mean, they've been together. So,
absolutely, Peter.
Good for him. Good for him. That's always good.
Definitely.
Always good to find a real one out there.
There you go. That's the key.
Yes.
Hopefully, we'll find him one day.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. We'll see what happens. All right, quarterback situation. Ben, what do you think here? All these reports coming out yesterday. You think Brady could possibly come back? Do you think he's trying to pull a power play? And the choices that were being talked about now, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson.
Tom Brady has his own podcast. So it's always nice to kind of keep your name out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he's doing. Marketing, keep the name out there. So I still think he's going to be retired. But we can only hope, Peter, that he can just change his mind and say, you know what? I got one more year in me.
Yep.
Maybe I'll win another title. Let's bring as many as we can back.
Right.
Get Godwin re-signed, get Jensen, get my boy, snap the ball to me.
Mm-hmm.
See if Gazelle, Honey, Sweetie,
Right. Just another year, maybe another, maybe one, 2 more years. The 2 years turns into 5, and then next thing you know, he's 60 something. Yeah.
He's divorced.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I don't know. I think he's still retired. But as far as your other question, the quarterbacks, God, it's going to be. See, we don't have the cap space like we did last year.
Correct.
23 free agents, and this is kind of the conundrum for Jason Light and Spytek and Greenberg here.
Mm-hmm.
Does Godwin? I would think he'd want to know who the quarterback is before he resigns, but if you're going to make a trade for Wilson or Garoppolo or somebody like that, the majority of the money is going to go to them. Do you have enough to re-sign Godwin? So it's kind of a conundrum they're going to have to figure out, who they're going to pay first.
Yeah. And Pewter Report did some good stuff on this. We have to get them on. Maybe JC Allen will break this down, but I believe it was Scott Reynolds or John Ledgerd who, broke down, how the Bucs could get to a certain figure with the restructuring of deals like, Mike Evans and Donovan Smith and stuff like that. And I don't, throw it out of the realm of possibility that the Bucs can do this. They've done it before, and I think they have a plan going into this. And they had to know. I mean, I think they expected Tom Brady was going to come back another year, but if he didn't, they didn't have their pants down, if you will. Okay, they have a plan. They have a plan B, and I think they're smart enough over there to understand what they need to do to get under the cap, get the guys that are priorities, the core. And I definitely think that's Carlton Davis, who will be franchised, and a Chris Godwin. And if it's not, then again, I trust their decision-making of what they've done the last couple of years here. But it's going to be interesting. You're not going to bring back everybody per se, but you know what? Maybe you don't need to bring back everybody. Maybe you need to draft a little bit better. Maybe you need to get some new blood in here, maybe a couple veterans. I mean, we talked about JPP. I think that's a question mark right now. He definitely didn't play like he's always played, but of course, going with an injury, he's up there in age. I'm not ready to give up on him, but what's his salary? Is that too much? Does he price himself out? What about a Sue? He's up there. Does he want to play? Does he want to retire? What about a Gronkowski? So there's a lot to remain, a lot of decisions that remain with this organization. And it's going to be very interesting to see, how they calculate this and how they maneuver the next couple of weeks before free agency.
Well, and that's the key. One of the guys on the comments says that's going to be interesting. We got to wait and see. And, like you said, last year, the front office did a great job of, getting all these guys back and restructuring deals. So you can't count them out.
Yeah,
they can do the job. It's just you have to go with the only conundrum they're going to have is with the quarterback and mainly the offense.
Yeah,
because you got to figure out like I said before, does Godwin want to wait and sign until see who we have at quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
But who are you going to get at quarterback? Where's that money going to go to?
Well,
so there's only so much money they can spend.
And I think, Carson Wentz, that's being thrown out there. To me, that's more of a realistic option. I mean,
it is,
you look at it, he was a second overall pick just a couple years ago. He was in the MVP conversation before he hurt his knee. I get it. He didn't necessarily play his best with the Colts, but his touchdown to interception differential was like 18-3. I mean, I think you would take that all day long. And look, they have Jonathan Taylor, but do they have the weapons like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do? No, they don't.
No.
So do you think BA would consider this? And then on top of it, if the Colts don't want to pay that rate that they're paying right now with the salary cap, they may just cut him. If you cut a guy like that, I mean, that's golden for the Bucs if that happens.
Because you're in the price range of the Bucs. So, realistically, Wentz, I'm sorry, Peter, I'm not too thrilled about that thought. He's had his moments where he can play really well, but he's had his moments. See the Jacksonville game.
Can't stay healthy.
A couple other games.
Can't stay healthy.
Right.
Largely ineffective. Lots of potential. I mean, this to me is like quarterback whisperer BA. Come here. You look at the comments a couple years ago. He compares Wentz to Andrew Luck. So if that means anything, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey.
Russell
BA
Wilson.
knows his quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, it's going to cost you. Not only it's going to cost you, but also you're going to have to give up draft picks. And, Carson Wentz, Matt Stafford. What did Matt Stafford fetch? What was it, 2 first rounds and third round or something along those lines? I'm willing to give that up for Russell Wilson. Are the Bucs as an organization willing to give that up? And then on top of that, can you restructure Russell Wilson's deal where the cap hit won't kill you this year so you're able to sign those surrounding players? That's the key to it.
See, that's the thing, though, Peter. You got to realize that if you're going to make a move like that, say takes 2 first rounders for a Wilson, maybe not Garoppolo, but like a Russell Wilson, Watson, or something like that.
Yeah,
you got to think about it because you better win a championship or at least get to a Super Bowl.
Sure.
If you're going to do something like that now, because those 2 first round, those are valuable.
Right.
They don't just come around every day. So you really got to think about this. Like, do you think you have the kind of team right now, that can win another Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl? If you're not sure about that, I wouldn't do it.
Do you think they do?
Well, that's hard to say because we have 23 free agents.
Right.
And depending who you sign, I don't know. I got to be honest. It's a real risk. And now it paid off for the Rams. It paid off for them. Didn't pay off for the Saints. So, you have both situations you can look at. Well, hey, look, the Rams did it. The Saints, well, it's a little different. They didn't trade a court, but
sure,
with Breeze, they kept kicking the can down the street. And look where they're at now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
$70 million in the hole. And
so
no
Jason
coach and no quarterback. Right. So, again, I have faith in it. But, again, at a present moment, you don't handle your cap right. It just happens. I guess it is a cycle that if you don't handle your cap right and you do go all in for those next couple of years, that eventually you're going to have to go through a rebuilding phase phase where you lose some phase, not phrase. Rebuilding phrase would be let's not
Peter,
go back to Youngry.
One more thing. Yeah, I know. But look, I'm looking at what we see here in our division next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a winnable division.
Yes.
9-8, 10-7 can win the division.
Can you win with Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask, in your opinion?
you can't win a Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl with them, but if you can win a division with them and still rebuild and do everything, draft well at the same time, you can compete for the next 5-6 years. I'd rather go down that route than to bring in somebody like a Wilson or somebody that's going to be good for 1 or 2 years, but eventually you give all those draft picks up and you give up that cap space, then you're going to be where teams like the Jets are, or the Lions, or Jacks for a while. So to me, I would be okay with starting a Trask, or maybe start out with a Gabbert for maybe a couple games, be a bridge to get Kyle Trask there eventually. I'd be okay with it.
You think
as
he's
long
ready?
Well, there's only one way to find out. You can't. You don't know if he's. You got to find out, because you drafted him the second round.
Sure.
It's not like you drafted him the 5th round or something like that. You drafted him pretty high. You felt like this is the guy that could eventually take over for Tom Brady. He has those characteristics: pocket passer, good arm. So, you don't just make that draft pick in the second round if you're not sure, he could be the guy.
Agree. Absolutely agree. Good stuff, Ben. What else? Anything else? Do you like the halftime show?
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's one of the better Now, was it the best halftime show I've ever seen? No. It was still Prince, but this was one of my top 4 or 5.
Okay. All right.
Dre was great. Snoop was great. Kendrick Lamar was great. Eminem was great. Mary J. Blige was very good as well. And even 50 Cent, he with inflation got to 250.
Yes, you stole the line from Dick Butkus today. A former Chicago Bear great linebacker saying inflation. I thought that was great. Dick is getting the hang of Twitter. You gotta love that. Gotta love it. All right, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, man. That's pretty much all I got for tonight, man. It's good talking to you, breaking everything down, and like I said, we'll see what happens in a few weeks and in the draft the next couple months.
Absolutely, my friend. Let me give you the woo from Ric Flair. Appreciate you as always. Thanks a lot for the time, and we'll definitely see you on Wednesday night. All right.
All right. Take care, Pete.
All right. There you go. Ben Cornett from Las Vegas. Van Jefferson had a pretty big night, not only winning a Super Bowl, maybe not on the stat sheet, but his wife was pregnant. She goes into labor. They take her off. He rushes, and he has a new son. So congratulations to the Jefferson family. Of course, if you don't know Van Jefferson, he played with the Florida Gators. And also his father was Sean Jefferson, who was a wide receiver in the NFL. So once again, congratulations to that family. And man, you got a real one right there, right? We're talking about real ones on Happy Valentine's Day. She's going to the game and she's pregnant. And any moment at that point, she could have the baby. She doesn't care. She's there for her man as support to watch the Super Bowl. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go watch the Troy Polamalu, Trojan legend. King Troy, Sean McVay said he wants to come back to Tampa where his professional coaching career began. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't think he said that. So once again, fake news. Christopher Cole says, whenever it gets close, I bet Brady and Godwin text each other. Well, that would be nice, because then that would entail that Godwin signs and Brady's going to come back. So hopefully the Bucs wide receivers and Bucs offensive coaching staff can get Brady back in that building. At least for maybe 1, 2 years. 2 turns into 3, 3 turns into 6, and next thing you know, you got 10. 10 years to Tom Brady. Why not? Why not? I'm just joking. Probably not going to happen. Brady quit. Breeze is gone. Panthers suck. Matty Ice, 2023 Super Bowl champs, baby. Once again, nonsense. All right, let's go out to Kyle Nicole. He says, okay, so we read that comment right there about the penalty situation. Good stuff. I agree with you, as we've talked about that ad nauseum. Let's go out to Odell Beckham. We reported today, it looks like, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Media, that he does have a torn ACL. It is the same ACL that Beckham tore when he was playing for the Browns in Week 7 of the 2020 season, and it happened against the same opponent in the Bengals. He suffered the non-contact knee injury with 3:54 left in the second quarter. Beckham caught 27 passes for 305 yards with 5 touchdowns for the Rams and 8 regular season games. He had 21 receptions, 288 with 2 touchdowns and 4 postseason games. So disappointing on that front because, we talk about it all the time. He can't stay healthy, but, in this case, you never like to see that happen for that young man because he's worked his way back off of a torn ACL, and now he's going to have to go through it again. So hopefully he gets back to 100%. Who knows? But he did win a Super Bowl. So good for Odell, going from, once again, the outhouse to the penthouse, from the Cleveland Browns to the LA Rams Super Bowl champion. So congratulations to him. A guy who didn't necessarily have a great weekend would be Mr. Adrian Peterson, who has professed his innocence after being arrested Sunday on felony domestic violence charges. The NFL running back was in Los Angeles for the pregame Super Bowl festivities and was returning to Houston for a planned Super Bowl party. The plane had pulled out of the gate at the Los Angeles International Airport and turned around and returned to the gate so police could remove Peterson from the plane. Peterson said he got into an argument with his wife on the plane, but denies he did anything that warranted an arrest. He says, "I was literally mind blown. They took me to jail," he told Mark Berman of Fox 26. They were like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson, but because she had a scratch on her finger in the state of California, we have to take you in." I sit there and watch the plane pull back, take off. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this is happening right now. I'm going to jail and I'm literally didn't do anything. It's blown out of proportion. Me and my wife got into an argument on the plane. That was pretty much the gist of it. I ended up grabbing her hand and taking her ring off her finger. Well, that's not a good situation to even admit to. And I get it, it's domestic, but man, no, that's not a good look. Not saying he did anything. It's still not a good look. It's not. She didn't press any charges, of course. The state of California pressed charges because there was a scratch on her hand. Literally, that's why I went to jail, because the ring left a scratch on her finger. My question is, wouldn't you have to grab pretty hard in order to leave that scratch? Just saying. I'm not a legal expert here, but common sense had to be a little bit more going on than just that, right? We shall see. We just had a disagreement. I know the headlines, domestic violence. You think I beat her up or something? It was nothing like that. Peterson blames the passenger behind them for the incident and hopes charges will be dropped. Only thing I will say is it looks horrible because Adrian Peterson arrested for domestic violence. I don't hit women. It's not that type of situation. It just looks bad. I'll deal with it, and God willing, get the charges dropped and move on. Now, the joke that's always out there is when you shake Adrian Peterson's hand, he's got that grip. That killer grip. So, it may seem to him that it's not a big deal. It may be a big deal. Just saying. Happy wife, happy life. I get it. I'm not married. I don't know about that whole type of thing, but I just wouldn't do that out in public. Okay? Just some advice out there from your friendly sports talk show host here. If you're going to do it out in public, maybe save that for the Super Bowl party. I wouldn't do it at all. No reason for it. I don't know the situation, but it's just not a good look. Not these days. No way. All right. Let's keep on. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, Jared Goff started crying in his car. Well, obviously. And I'll actually give you that one. That was pretty funny. And this is nonsense for the night. Fire Arians, bring back John Gruden, and this is what you get.
Shut up!
All right. So we talked about the Adrian Peterson situation, the Odell Beckham situation. Let's go into what has been reported here. Also from NFL media today, the NFL is investigating the Miami Dolphins after former coach Brian Flores alleged in a recent lawsuit that team owner Stephen Ross offered him money to lose games. According to this report, and this is from, once again, NFL media, sources informed of the league's investigation say the probe has only just begun. We've only just begun. You got to love that. Maybe the song, but not that. Not the way that's been presented. We've only just begun. Uh-oh. Maybe somebody in the NFL is watching this show. Because I've said this countless times, and I'll continue to preach it to the choir. And please listen up if you haven't heard it. But Stephen Ross deserves to be removed as an owner if he participated in this activity. He does. All right, let's go out to Curtis. I'll finish up my thought in just a little bit. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What do you say, my friend? Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, well, look, here's the thing. Number one, I just got off work. I don't even know what happened, but I just logged in and I heard you talking, and I said, well, let me call in so I can get in on the conversation. So what happened?
Well, what first? I mean, the Adrian Peterson situation, and he was arrested over the weekend, and what he claims to say is that he was arrested because he left a mark on his scratch on his wife's finger. Now, the running joke with Peterson is his grip is like a real man's grip. So if he was trying, and he admitted to this, he was pulling the ring off. They had some domestic dispute over something. I mean, first and foremost, you've been married before. You can't do this out in public. Never. No, you can't. No. And then you should never do it. But he was arrested, and he's saying it's been blown out of proportion. I just don't know.
Here's the first thing. The only reason that they're making a big deal out of it is because he's Adrian Peterson.
Correct.
Because second of all, if he was a regular guy, the first thing that normal police officers would have asked, well, what did she do?
Mm-hmm.
Because you think he would just attack her for no reason?
Right.
I mean, like, dude, this is the problem with the people in the NFL. Like, because they have a status, everything that they do is elevated.
Mm-hmm.
He scratched her finger. Okay, she could have scratched her finger boarding the airplane. I mean, listen, I really don't have anything to say. I think it's bullshit, but I mean, who am I to judge?
Right, because you don't know the whole situation. And again, I'll read this to you. He says, I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson, but because she had a scratch on her finger in the state of California, we have to take you in. I'll sit there and watch the plane pull back and take off. And I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this is happening right now. I'm going to jail. He also says it's blown out of proportion. Me and my wife got into an argument on the plane. That was pretty much the gist of it. I ended up grabbing her hand and taking her ring off her finger. I mean, that to me is a little bit more. I get it. You're having an argument, but come on. Have you ever jerked off your wife's ring before? I mean, be honest. Have you ever done something like that out in public?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Well, here's the thing. I just had a situation that happened, something like this, about a couple weekends ago. I was at the store in Newport Richie.
Mm-hmm.
This lady, her and her husband were getting into it. And excuse my French, but she bitch slapped this dude. And he told her 2 or 3 times, stop hitting me. Stop hitting me. She continued to hit him. He didn't even hit her. He pushed her after she punched him in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
They called the police and they took him to jail.
Well,
I feel like they both should have went to jail.
I agree. I've always agreed with that. I mean, but again, at the end of the day, also as a man, you can't hit a woman. You can't touch a woman in any way. It's not allowed. And for him to admit to this, he this is a man. This is a guy that has a grip now. Remember, this guy has the hands of like the Hulk. Okay, so if he's
let me say this, Peter.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I agree that a man should not hit a woman.
Right.
But I also agree that a woman shouldn't put her hands on a man. Because let me tell you something. I'm one of those guys that watched that TV show Snapped.
Mm-hmm.
And I know women are just as capable of killing men as a man is capable of killing a woman.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Now, it putting your hands on somebody is not right either way it goes. And 90% of us as men grew up, don't put your hands on women.
No, I had 4
But
sisters, and I grew up that way. I mean, they could scratch me, pull my hair out,
Yeah,
couldn't touch
trust
them.
me, trust me, I have 5.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest.
There you go.
Okay. And the thing about it is, what people don't understand is we can hurt too. What would happen if, okay, let me use this as an example. The Adrian Peterson thing as an example.
Mm-hmm.
If him and his wife was on the plane and she punched him in the face and he got knocked out, what would be said right now?
She should be going to jail for assault.
Well, she would be in jail for assault, but the other headlines would be, "Oh man, Adrian Peterson is a bitch."
Right.
That's the first thing people would say.
Correct.
So, it's kind of a double standard. I mean, I'm against hitting women, absolutely 100%. But also at the same time, I don't think anybody knows the full story except for him and her.
Exactly. It's just not a good optic right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good optic.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's what my cousin in the background, he said it's always going to be the man's fault, no matter what.
Yeah. So
no matter what.
And then he's admitting to it. I mean, it's not good. And then the other stuff here, and I was getting to this. This is from NFL Media today. Sources informed the league's investigation say the probe has only just begun. Investigators plan to speak with all the relevant parties, including Flores, as soon as possible. It's clear the league takes the possibility of tanking extremely seriously, seeing as it is a threat to the integrity of the game, with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell saying last Wednesday during his pre-Super Bowl 56 news conference, if there were violations, they won't be tolerated. And as I've said over and over again, if this is true with Stephen Ross, he needs to be removed. If it's true what's happened with Daniel Snyder, he needs to be removed. It's time to make these guys pay. And it's not about how much these owners can make the other owners money, or if it's a good old boy network. If they did something wrong, they need to be removed. That's the reason why the Dolphins are a dumpster fire. That's the reason why the Washington Commanders are somewhat of a dumpster fire, because of their ownership. It starts at the top.
Here's the thing. I like Brian Flores. I really do. I think he did a great job coaching the Dolphins this year. Here's the problem with what he did. He was 100% correct for what he did, for standing up in what he believes in. But he is the new Colin Kaepernick right now.
Mm-hmm.
He is the new Colin Kaepernick right now.
In that he's looking at not having a job. But I will say this: I think that's not going to happen this time, because Roger Goodell is taking a stand on it. You have other owners. I don't think this happens. I think the owners will hire. I think there will be an owner out there that will hire him on the fact that, it's not the distraction that he's brought to the league or he's been blackballed. It's the fact that he is the most qualified candidate for the job. I still have some optimism that the NFL will do right by him. I do.
I'm praying it doesn't happen.
Okay.
I'm praying it doesn't happen, because, there's as a man, Peter, you're a different man and I'm a different man.
Sure.
But there is nothing wrong with standing up for what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
If Brian Flores is guilty of anything, he's guilty for standing up in what he believes in.
Sure.
Period. If he wanted to be a scumbag, he just would have took the money and never said anything.
Sure. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he took the high road and integrity and all that other things, the problem is the NFL owners. The NFL owners are going to do whatever they can, not to protect the shield,
right,
but to protect their pockets.
Correct.
And that's the problem I see.
And it's always been the problem. And that's the problem with Daniel Snyder. And I talked about this years ago when all these allegations of sexual misconduct came out, that he was a part of it. If he's a part of it, get him out.
Yep. Well, that's like Donald Sterling.
Right.
Jerry Richardson.
Right. Get him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's easy. I get it. People say, well, you can't take it away from them. Yes, you can, because if you're talking about protecting the shield with players and coaches, then owners have to be held accountable in the same respect. And if they aren't, then that's the reason why you have the organization you have.
Well, and that goes also back to Robert Kraft. You know, they could have went after him if they wanted to.
Right.
They could have.
Right.
But, you know, they didn't. But, you know, he came out, he was apologetic and things. And, you know, I mean, the point is this, and, you know, I'm not making any excuses for those owners. Did it hurt Donald Sterling to make billions of dollars for selling his team? No, not really.
No.
Will he be known as a racist? Yeah, not really. But when you have money like that, people kind of turn the other cheek.
Sure they do. And that's the problem. And that's the whole situation with this. You know, if you're having a problem with hiring minority candidates, and this is a guy that you're looking at right now in this investigation, and you're giving him a slap on the wrist, or you're losing a draft pick, that's not good enough. If you want true change, you have to be radical. You have to think outside of the box. Curtis, anything else, my friend?
Yeah, I got two things.
Okay.
The one thing is Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
The reason it also looks bad is because of the stuff that went on with his kid about 10 years ago.
Correct. I mean, it's a pattern of behavior. That's what it goes back to. And I get it. He's a football player, and, you know, he's trained to do this and that, and you have that personality and everything like that. It's not a good look, and it's already happened in the past.
Not at all. And my other thought, I just had it inside my head, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you know, the NFL just needs to. I don't want Roger Goodell in complete control, but some of these owners, they really need to. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I know what it was. Draft picks. When you take draft picks from the team, it doesn't hurt the owners. It hurts the team.
Hurts the team.
Because the owners are still going to make their money no matter what.
Of course. We know that. We've seen that happen down here.
They're going to make their money off of jersey sales.
Right.
They're going to make their money off concessions. I mean, it was you the other day who just said all these owners get these stadiums built. They don't pay for it. The public pays for these
Public
stadiums.
is paying for it. They're getting the majority of the revenue that's paid for by it.
So what are they losing? They're losing nothing.
That's it.
Donald Sterling bought the Clippers for next to nothing, and he sold it for almost $3 billion.
If you have no consequences for your actions, guess what? Then why are you suspending players and coaches and this and that and the other thing? So,
but when players get in trouble,
sure,
you want to crucify them.
It's a double standard. It's disappointing.
Absolutely.
It's a double standard that's disappointing. Absolutely. Good stuff. All right.
Anyway, brother, I don't know. I'm going to let somebody else call in. If I think of anything else, I'm going to call back.
Well, real quick, what did you think of that halftime show yesterday? Did you like it?
I think that it was classic.
Classic. That's what I'm saying.
And
yes.
I want to say this. I want people to understand one thing about Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Snoop Dogg is an icon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Snoop Dogg has been around for almost 40 years. And we've seen Snoop Dogg at the very bottom, and we've seen him at the very top. And he's everywhere now.
Yep.
Now, what I want to ask you is, what did you think about the Dr. Evil commercial yesterday?
I loved it. I mean, I actually think that the commercials yesterday, and you know me, I was saying they're overrated. I thought they were been disappointing the last couple of years. They're really good. I mean, I like that commercial. I like the Sopranos commercial with his daughter and his son. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Are you having a sequel? Don't tease me with that. Don't tease me like that. So the commercials were really good yesterday. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Salma Hayek. I mean, anytime you can have Salma Hayek in a commercial, that's a win for everybody.
I mean, listen.
Halle Berry, too, by the way. And the NFL commercial was good, too.
Here's the thing. You knew they were going to go all out for the Super Bowl in L.A.
Well, you had to, didn't you?
Yep.
So it's good.
All right, my brother. I'm going to hit you up in a little bit.
All right, man. Sounds good. Let me go ahead and give you the woo. Woo! And let me go ahead and give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Appreciate you as always, Curtis from Newport Richie. All right?
All right, brother.
All right, man. See you later. There you go. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Getting some requests here to call in. What's up, Pete? What's going on? Ominous right there. Joey Ominous. What's going on? Can I call in live? Yes, you can. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to it here. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Welcome to the Sports Web. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, guys. That's enough of that tonight. That's it. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's actually kind of stupid. You're wasting my time. Whoever's calling, stop doing that. Happy Valentine's Day. Appreciate you, Nita. Let me go ahead and fire the cannons for that. Joey says, wait, what about the dude Giovanni? Doesn't he hit women? I don't know who you're talking about. Smack him back, Peter. Show your sisters who's boss. I don't think so.
Shut up!
Amina says, we love you, Pete. And Joey said he shared it. Thank you very much. Last call of the night. Welcome to the Sports Web. You're live on air. What do you have to say? Okay, goodbye. I'm tired of this. I'm going to get off the air right now. Thanks a lot to all our callers and, of course, all our text messages here. And, of course, our guest, Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. It's Sports Mag. We'll be back on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock here live on I Love St. Pete. And, of course, the hub, once again, betus.com, 125% sign-up bonus. Put in the code TSW22. Enough of you, whoever the hell you were, calling me. Stop calling me because I'm on a live show trying to make some money. And if you're trying to mess around, then you're messing around with my mojo. I don't like that. Once again, we'll be back at 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, hopefully with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, and, of course, your phone calls. Happy Valentine's Day. If I'm going to give you any advice at this point, I would say first, whoever's calling, stop calling because it's not funny anymore. And also, don't take that significant other for granted, right? Act like it's the first time. Act like you were trying to wine and dine her the first time, and do 3 things for me on this Monday night. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Have a great night, guys. At this point, I would say first.
Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football, but of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilt on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.
For BetUS.
Merry Christmas. Say, I love football. Say this. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Tampa. Tampa. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Oh my God, she's so smart and she's so precious. I love her to death.